charts of the different types of clouds. Okay, so this is a cirrus cloud that's normally held very high in the sky. This is a sort of alto-cumulus cloud, and this is the nimbus stuff, the much thicker clouds at the bottom, stratocumulus. Okay? So we're also getting variations on a theme. Sometimes the beams are coming, I assume they're beams coming down, and they're skimming the clouds. So you get elongated versions of this. The main thing to point out is that there seems to be evidence of a differential in charge. Something is coming down. We're seeing beams of energy coming down that are very specific. And the explanation for this is that the clouds are forming in a sort of anomalous way, because the clouds are becoming charged, the air is becoming charged, and things that normally form very high are forming now very low. Just wanted to show you how this feather ice, which is very sort of pretty, can form actually at ground level, but it has to be very, very cold for it to do. This same feathering effect. See, it's just a standard way of ice crystals forming. Okay, so this is just on a stick, on a plateau in Norway, and this is what our clouds actually look like. It's just a variation on a theme. Okay, as our scientists have said, they've known for about 150 years that that you have this, how electrical field can actually affect the freezing point of water. It's nothing new, and it's quite strange seeing scientists saying, we don't really understand this, but they've known for 150 years that this can happen. It's just a sign, I'm explaining it technically, just a sign that this is just not, I'm not just making this up. The scientific community are well aware. It's just putting 2 and 2 together and coming up to a conclusion. I normally make a joke and say 2 and 2, and I say 44. That's my joke, but anyway. So we're now seeing these UFO clouds, which is what people are calling UFO clouds. I think it's incorrect. But there's a lot of buzz in the blogosphere now because of these really strange clouds. And there's been quite big examples in Romania and various parts of the world. It's basically the same cloud. If the cloud is thick, we're getting these rings in the sky, which to me are pointing out where we're getting these downpours of energy. So the thing with plasma is that you get the same thing happening on a large scale as you get on a smaller scale. So this concept of the donut on a stick is something how electrical universe people explain how black holes work. So I don't really want to go too much into the technical details of this, but I believe that we're seeing a similar type of event taking place in the skies around our planet. It's an electrical phenomena. It's not how our scientists believe. I think that this is definitely duplicating at a large scale and at a smaller scale. And if you look it up, this concept of a, okay, I've gone too far. This concept of they call the donut on a stick is a common. Now this is how they explain black holes. It is a common thing that's seen in the universe. Okay, next. This is interesting because I just want to say that there was now more cooperation taking place between plasma physicists and astronomers, cosmologists, trying to understand how black holes work. But in this experiment, they actually used an electron beam. Now, I'm doing this in a certain way to point out, when I say that we're getting beams of energy hitting our planet, I'm trying to say to you that our scientists are already investigating this. This is already going on in the background. I'm not making these assertions with no basis. Okay? Here, I'd just like to point out a book that I've got. It's by a lady called Viola Petit-Neal. This is a very highly respected lady. She actually died in 1981, I think. This lady used to have dreams. She says she went to night school and she could remember what she was being taught. And she wrote a book, she kept a diary, and she said to her friend, I don't want people to know about this until after I've died. And so she died in 1981 and the book was published in 1983. It's a strange book. I will say it is a strange book. There's things in there that I've never come across anywhere else. She talks about different types of people on the planet. Some of it is just a bit strange even for me. But she was told in her dreams that our solar system is moving through a different region of space and that we're actually going to have a transformation taking place. What's of interest to me, this information was from early 1960s. 61, 62, 63 is when she was being given this information. It's like people have been told there's a transformation taking place. What I like about this is that this woman had absolutely nothing to gain from sharing this information. She was very careful how people perceived her because of her position. But she still wanted people to know the truth, so she said to her friend, when I'm dead, you can publish my stuff. This is the only source that I've come across that actually said that Earth is going to be hit with beams of energy from the cosmos. I've never come across it in the metaphysical literature anywhere else, but I'm sure there are other sources providing the same information. And I find that really quite incredible. And she talks geophysics, which is why I'm interested. She talks about lots of different subjects, but she clearly saw this as to do with the fact that we're moving into a different region of space and it was going to cause transformation on this planet. I think it's important that we remember it's not just the people that have been talking now who are very vocal. This message has been going into the metaphysical spiritual community for decades, and it's now happening. Okay, so we're getting these holes. I just want to talk about sinkholes. Maybe I'm probably going to spend too much time, but we're seeing really strange holes. Now, we're being told that this hole was caused by water. I would just like to point out, look how straight those sides are. It looks like it's been cut with a laser. I just don't believe the conventional explanation at all. Okay, normally when you have a sinkhole, it's a chemical reaction and it's not, you create like a Swiss cheese thing, it's like a weakening going on in the rocks. It's a sort of a, it's a sort of fairly sort of chaotic chemical process where you get crumbling of the rocks. There's nothing like straight line holes at all. It's just not how this process works. And if you go to the geologists, when they're talking about some of these holes, they just say it's not a sinkhole. That the one in Guatemala, where they call that a piping feature. Okay, so there's different definitions, but everybody's calling them sinkholes because it's a hole and things sink into them, I suppose. So I just want to point out, we are seeing some really strange things. China, look at that in the middle of the road. Perfectly round, looks like it's been cut with a laser. I don't believe that's a sinkhole. This one here is a hole that divers like to entertain themselves with. It's what, 300 meters wide, 125 meters deep. I don't believe that is a normal process, because if it was done by water, how could it stay stable? You know, it should spread out, but it's not. It's just a straight down hole. This is just something from mining where the mine is collapsed. It's a hole, but you can see that it's not like it's been cut with a laser. I don't know if that's easy to see. Here, more real sinkholes. That's a real sinkhole. People building on land that's not really very good land to be building buildings on. The thing in Guatemala is a little bit different to the rest, because it's on a type of volcanic land, volcanic deposits. It's a type of pumice stone, that's officially what it's called. And you're getting these very round-looking things. It's not a sinkhole, they call it a piping feature, but I still don't believe the official geological explanation for this. Now, this is a real sinkhole. I think we are seeing a lot of shifting taking place because of the massive bursts of energy hitting the planet. We're seeing huge increasing volcanoes, in earthquake activity, and I think that there's energies rippling through the planet. So I think we are going to see sinkholes, real sinkholes, but at the same time I think we're also seeing energies literally hitting the planet like a laser beam as well. Okay, that's just another example of a kimberlite pipe. I mentioned this in my book, the fact that you can have bursts of energy coming up from the core of the Earth. And this example, they've mined this. So I just want to remind people that there's energies coming up from the core, and there's energies hitting the planet directly. Okay, it's not simple. But we seem to be seeing an awful lot of holes appearing all over the planet. This is holes stamped on ice. Here, a nice little hole. Here, nice little hole. And that was actually, this picture's been taken from the ISS. The astronauts actually detected this. No, this is, yes. I'm just going to show you that a little bit closer up. They think, oh, maybe it was geothermal energies, but this is still a mystery. Why are we getting these stamps on ice? At the moment, this is all speculative. I mean, that ring is something like 5 miles, 8 kilometers across. It's just a very strange feature on the ice. I think that the planet was actually hit with a beam of light, or an electron beam, actually, is probably a better thing to say. And we are seeing evidence of the planet being hit. Okay, I'm going to change tack a little bit here and talk about the fact that the metaphysical community have been receiving information from various sources, and it's something that's, we seem to be given information on a cosmic information, how things affect things on Earth. And one bit of information is about the transit of Venus. And I find this particularly interesting because I feel I found some verification of what's been given in the metaphysical community. The Venus transit itself is one of the rarest planetary alignments. So, we have these transits that take place approximately every 120 years. and they occur in pairs.